Emotional tone is what connects before the words actually land. We kind of feel everything and sense everything before we actually consciously recognize what we're saying or what we're hearing or what we're reading. Even though our eyes might be reading the words on, say, your post on LinkedIn, we are passively taking in a lot more information than we realize. And so your mind, even though I don't know if you've ever done a speed reading course and how you can kind of scan the page and a image plays out in your mind. At least that's how I experienced it. I did a speed reading course when I was in my 20s. It was fabulous. I was reading novels like crazy. I would read a novel a week easily. And I rarely saw the words on the page. I almost always had an experience in whether it's my mind, my body, whatever it was. And that's what happens when we are looking at our content, even if we're not consciously aware, we're taking in information. And so this is what I want to share. It's something I've been doing. I call it the Ideal Client HD reports. I'm using human design as a tool, but I'm helping people to see what that vibe is or that frequency. I call it the red frequency, that thing we feel before we're consciously aware of what we're actually even doing or what we're reading, and how you can use that to magnetize everything that you do. And so we all have these things that are just kind of about us. We don't even think they're much of anything. As a matter of fact, we probably don't even think that, at least this is my case, and I know it for many other people that I've worked with, that's no big deal. That's like just easy. I just do that. I'll do that for free for you, sort of thing. And it may not be the thing that we get knee deep inside our programs that we do. If you do coaching or if you have a service that you offer, it may not be the meat of what you're doing, but it's this thing that allows people to get closer to us because it's effortless on your part. That means it's effortless for them to come to it. There's a safety in it. So this emotional tone that you put into your content, you really want them to feel it first. The thing that's the easy thing to feel safe and welcoming to take that next step. So I want to share with you what I mean by this, because it may seem like, okay, I kind of hear you, but I kind of don't know exactly what you're talking about. So like I said, I use human design as a tool. So I'm going to start over here on the left-hand side where I have the 9 centers. Think of them as energy centers as you go through, and if you're reading any of them, reading any of them, you get an understanding of what they are. You don't have to believe in human design or even know anything about human design, other than if you just think about these are some centers and they all have flavors. I think that's what I think about them. They all have flavors, right? So they have different things that could be your strength. And we all have all of these, but some of us have some of these as stronger strengths that you might look at one and think, like I look at the heart, willpower, and the values. I suck at doing values. I have to really consciously put it out there and really think about it. I have to labor into it, if that makes sense. Versus something like the sacral, where it has that generator energy, it's just that gut response. I mean, I can muster up energy for anything. I might burn out later on, but I can really muster up energy for anything. Like I feel that energy just easily coming out of me. And we have these strengths, but then even within our strengths, we have some of them that are so effortless, we've probably ignored them. We didn't have to really fully develop them. They just are. And for me, that is the solar plexus, the creativity. I've been labeled a creative since I was young. My mom's always said since I was 2, she knew I was creative. And creativity has just always been something that's just always been there. I don't even try and it just happens. And so we all have those things. And so I don't put a lot of onus on that. Like the Ajna is one area that I've spent a lot of time working on throughout my whole career, and really that ability to teach and to analyze and to break things down, to make it so simple to understand. I have so much pride. I would always say that I can break things down into 3 easy steps that a first grader can do. That's when I know I win. And I used to lead with that on LinkedIn. And people just dismissed everything. Like, I got few comments, and even the ones I was like, you totally missed the point of what I'm saying. You don't even understand me. I felt so misunderstood because it's something that I've worked hard at. So in order for someone to respond to it, they're probably looking at like, even though I broke it down into easy steps, it's kind of contradicting here. It either was like, I don't understand it, or that feels kind of heavy, because I've experienced this with other people's content. So I know what it feels like when someone is efforting into something, even though I'd worked hard on it for, decades of my life. So I don't even recognize how much effort I'm putting into it, where that creativity thing is like, well, it's just like, well, I just do this. I don't know. So I want to share with you these centers and how they can sound differently in your content. So I have an example over here on the side, and I think, what I will do is I will make myself a little bit smaller. No one has to make themselves small, but I'm going to make myself a little bit smaller here so that we can see everything. So we have, I have a sentence. I put a sentence down, and I've just reworked it. And it all starts off with, when you lead with your red frequency, because that's what I'm talking about, and what happens in the comments. What do you see? What's the evidence? Like, what shifts? And so I'm going to talk about it from all these different centers. There's only one in here that really sounds like me, that if I put it in my content, that I'm going to get the best results from. There's a few of them that I'll still get some results from. There's some that I'll get not the results I want. But there's one that's like the ideal match for me. So I'm going to read through them. Let's go through each one. So the head center, think about it. It's the, where we get that inspiration, like, oh, I need to answer this question, or this is what's going on. Someone needs to figure this out. It's that kind of thing. So for the head, when you lead with your red frequency, your posts start to spark recognition. Your audience feels the question they've been circling finally voiced. So it's all about the questions of things, like they are experiencing, they're getting that ideas coming into their mind. And so that may sound really lovely, like, yeah, I want people to come into my world who are thinking that. But it is going to attract a very specific kind of person. Okay, let's do the ajna now, the conceptualization, the teaching. When you lead with your red frequency, your clarity cuts through. Your people respond with, I've never heard it said like that before. So think about shifting those beliefs, Now we're teaching something like, oh, I never thought to put it in that order before. That sort of thing. So it's a different kind of person who's looking for something that's really laid out in those step-by-steps so they can clearly see something new. For the throat, this is all about your expression. And I want you to think about expression as fully from mannerisms and actions to words and sounds and looks and visuals. And it's taking that action. When you lead with your red frequency, your voice pulls in. Comments turn into echoes of what they've always wanted to say but couldn't. It's all about getting that expression out. So, identities, the next one on here, and this is all about purpose and direction. Oh, there we go. Purpose and direction. When you lead with your red frequency, your content feels like home. Clients just don't comment. They recognize themselves in your words. You see, like, we're saying the exact same thing. It just has a different tone. It's always about the client seeing them, voicing what I never thought I could voice, recognizing themselves. Oh, I've never thought of it that way. This gives me something new, like an aha moment. Or, oh my gosh, this is the questions that I've been trying to figure out myself. There is this recognition that happens with all of these. We're just saying it in a slightly different way. And so I can continue on here with the sacral. That's all about your life force energy, the generative energy that keeps coming. So your aliveness transmits. Comments become energetic yeses straight from the gut. So people start to, this is a different kind of person. If you're leading from this is all of a sudden they feel like, oh, I feel that. Yes, I feel what's happening within me. I feel safe enough to say yes. And not to say that all of these are not yeses. This is just, it's a different way that that yes is coming to them. Or if it's the root is all about your drive and your stamina. And so think about it like it pulses you into action. And so somebody's reading your stuff, the comments might shift the tempo. Your words ground others and align clients respond from a place of readiness, not rush. So they feel that sense of like, this is the action that I take, so there's a confidence in that. For the spleen, this is all about well-being, your vitality, your survival. And so when you write from your red frequency, people feel safe. Your presence speaks before your words do. And the right clients lean in without hesitation. And so they're all about them recognizing themselves. This is what I need. This is the world that I think I want to explore more of. I'm saying yes to this, whether it's yes to reading another comment, yes to raising their hand and saying I want in your program, yes to even just clicking on the link just to see what your program is about, maybe going to your profile, whatever it is. They noticed something. There was a connection there. They're like when you, I sometimes I'll ask my son, well, why did you pick that one? If we're at the toy store or somewhere, and the response oftentimes is my son's nonverbal. He talks with an iPad. He has an app on his iPad. And the response is, mostly just, love. Well, okay. Just because. I had a conversation with my dad recently, and I was asking him why he made some of the choices that he made. And he just said, because. He's like, I don't know, just because. And that's what we're talking about. That's like kind of like that red frequency. You just connect with it. It just feels like yours. And so you might respond to some of these, and some of these you might be like, oh, I wouldn't respond to that. And that's good, because depending on who's saying it, from which center that they're talking about, they're going to attract a different kind of person. It's going to help awaken within that person something different for each one, right? So if it's the heart, which is all about your willpower and your values and everything. So it might be when you lead with your red frequency, your certainty calibrates the room. Your clients rise to meet the level of commitment you quietly hold. Like, that's another powerful thing, right? We're all saying the same thing, that people are starting to recognize themselves and they're moving into some sort of movement forward. If it's the solar plexus, when you lead with your red frequency, emotion moves through, comments deepen, soften, and reveal the real reason they're drawn to you. This is mine, and I can tell you 100%. You can go check me out on LinkedIn. I'd be happy to connect with you if you're interested, but go check me out on LinkedIn. This is what's happening in my comments right now.